कैसे हो भाई बहनों मैं हूं अनस बिल्कुल अंधेरे में बैठा हूं लेकिन but ladies and gentlemen it's been a week and a half since the whole EDP nuclear weapon had dropped on the internet. Now ladies and gentlemen, all that aside, let's get into some serious stuff. Now ever since then a lot has actually happened. For one, EDP445 has lost all of his channels on YouTube. Channels. He's been dealt with, okay? YouTube has given him the flat removal on the platform. And Chet, one of the actual people who was hunting him down, for those of you who are unacquainted, he's the individual who had the beard and the blue shirt. His channel was also taken down. Now, ever since EDP was exposed, Chet was also exposed for being racist and homophobic. He had plenty of videos still on his channel, from what I recall, before it was taken down, where, he was just okay with making some really, dumb, stupid, offensive jokes. Again, this is a scenario where there's just villains, it seems, all around, right? Like Chet, who was making these off-color jokes, almost made me personally question the validity of whether this individual cared about hunting predators to begin with, or whether it was just some, a platform for him to launch a career off of. Because when you watch these videos, especially, it's like, you don't have to sit there making jokes and all that. You don't have to sit there, calling the individual, names here and there. It should really just be handled completely professionally. It's sort of like what you would watch on To Catch a Predator, when Chris Hansen comes out. And when it looks at EDP, allegedly with him going out and falling for the sting operation, whether it be for a cupcake or whatnot, these guys made, EDP look like if he was a pianist, his favorite key would be A minor. So it's just an entirely bad situation all around. That's not to say Chet was innocent either. Before anybody on the video comments starts saying, "Oh, Muda, I can't believe you're throwing this..." Listen, I hate both these individuals, okay? I think both of them are absolute douchebags. At the end of the day, there's no room for error. Now, there was a third party into the situation, one who I want to talk about a little bit. Now, as you all know, this whole situation was conducted by the Predator Poachers. So, to give you a timeline of events, from what I recall over here, and I was following the situation very closely, basically, Predator Poachers' Instagram account, which I believe is now private, was hyping up this video of EDP. They showed an image snippet of a Final Cut Pro edit project of EDP on camera admitting to some weird stuff. Now, given the fact that we saw that, everyone on the internet basically got hyped with this upcoming, pred reveal, okay? It was like a smash reveal, but basically for upcoming law enforcement to sort of look over. Now, when we saw that, we were like, okay, we need to see this drop. Now, they were waiting a few days to drop this, okay? They had released an entire stream, 2 hours of reading fucking chat logs, of which for 10 minutes into this video, it's a re-upload, by the way, there's an image of Sorry. There's an image of, like, EDP's shit in the toilet, all right? Now, this is bad, but it gets even worse, okay? It gets to the point where I couldn't even finish this video because some of the messages were quote-unquote really just disgusting. They were abhorrent to read. Now, ever since then, they were hyping it up with these super chats and streams and whatnot going around, which, again, it is what it is. I find it personally weird to hype up an entire stream or an event like this. Usually with something as damning as this, you should probably just release it and expose it for the community and move on. To hype it up like it's some upcoming Netflix special is not the time. At some point, from what I believe and know, is that they were waiting for this video to go green, which basically means that YouTube was going to approve it for all advertisers. I have no idea how they were going to put it into the self-demonetizer, the self-review process for YouTube. Usually, I would assume for this, you would chuck all those sensitive issues options to like maximum. But then again, it is a machine learning process, so it probably did get approved. I have no idea if the video even had ads to begin with. I usually have ad block on the PC because, there's an ad problem that I'm currently dealing with where like every time I skip the video, I have an issue. Regardless, though, I didn't see any ads myself, so I don't know if that ever went green. I like to think they may have just released it and said fuck it at the end of the day, but this video did gain a lot of traction, like 2 million views. When I go to Predator Poachers, especially their website, I think one thing definitely freaks me out. The first thing you do on their website is not some sort of mission statement like, we hunt down bad people. It's how do we buy tiers of these Predator releases? $3 bronze tier, $5 silver. Hell, if you pay for the big game hunter, they'll straight up call you a sugar daddy at the end of the video. Now, while the Predator Poachers seem to be doing a pretty valiant and noble job in trying to stop, sick individuals, when you compare them to groups like Perverted Justice, who just straight up give you the chat logs without a paywall, and I think Tetrad Core might do the same thing too, these are groups that have worked with Chris Hansen and, in effect, by Chris Hansen and NBC, also with law enforcement in these collaborated stings. And usually when you have these groups working together, it's a lot easier to convict. Again, it's not even ironclad then, but it's a lot easier to convict, and it's a lot more professionally done which leads to a better resolution and having the actual, individual who is stung, the actual individual who's caught into this trap, actually arrested on the admissions that they've given, right? But getting back to the whole scenario, there was an individual, a third party involved in it called Ghost, the person in the mask that a lot of people in the original video called annoying. Now in this video, Ghost had to talk about addressing the whole scenario. So I kind of want to just play a snippet of this video to sort of show you what it's all about. So let's hear it real quick.
Hey, what's up guys? This is CC Unit, and today I'll be addressing a couple points that people have been asking me for the the past couple of days. So let's get into it. The purpose of this channel is to spread awareness, spread online safety, and protect our communities. So that's the purpose of this channel, to spread awareness, spread safety, and spread education as well.
Friendly advice for next time is when you're actually partnering with somebody, maybe make sure that they can't have a cancellation video on them that's like 20 minutes in length, bro. Like, that's not really the greatest look imaginable. Also, being said, this guy basically got double canceled in this entire situation. Like, he ended up canceling EDP, but because of all these past transgressions, it all backfired on him too. So again, his channel got removed as well off of YouTube. This was like a double cancellation, like mathematically on YouTube, all right? Negative plus negative, like, this was just over. Gone. But that being said, though, ladies and gentlemen, I just really wanted to leave it off on this. I'm going to give, Ghost the benefit of the doubt. I didn't watch all of his channel, but I like to think this is an individual that really wants to stop sick people out there from hurting minors. And I have a few things in life that I'm passionate about, okay? Virtual machines, computers, video games, and really stopping individuals that hurt kids at the end of the day. But going on further, okay, EDP445, I have been looking into this day after day, and I don't think I found a single thing regarding him and being arrested, okay? Now, and of course, that entire arrest basically is hinging on the fact that EDP is actually guilty, right? If that is to exist. Because right now, EDP hasn't been charged or brought in front of like a law, like a court of law. So he is innocent until proven guilty. People have to make that distinction very clear, right? Now, that being said, if you took this entire video and played it in front of a jury, I think you'd have a pretty hard time finding people who would find innocence, given that EDP was pretty forthcoming in this video if you were to watch it. Now, I assume that if the only way that this case can be ruined, and unfortunately this is a possible reality, is a lawyer can probably look at this and say, okay, I'm not going to be able to get you out in front of a jury based on your testimony, but there could be some technicality that's broken in how this evidence and this investigation was handled. There's plenty of cops that'll outright tell you that these kind of investigations hurt more than they actually help. And even when you have investigations, like I mentioned earlier with Chris Hansen, who actually had Dateline NBC teams, perverted justice and actual law enforcement. If you watch some of those actual Chris Hansen stings, you can find law officers just sitting in the garage, like 10 agents waiting to pounce on an individual because they have all the evidence they need to get a conviction from what they know. They have at least they know to be an ironclad case. There are dudes in ghillie suits waiting to actually pounce on individuals to arrest in those videos. So even when that happens, there's still a chance that people get out for entrapment cases, for numerous technicalities. And from what I understand with the EDP sting is these guys didn't communicate with the Bakersfield Police Department until after the whole investigation was done. So maybe with all the jokes that were said, maybe with how certain things definitely were mishandled, EDP might actually have a case legally to get away with this scot-free. Again, I'm not a lawyer, but I've orbited around this entire structure to understand at least, the basic understanding. And I've talked to a few lawyers myself regarding this kind of things, and the answers, while mixed, generally go to the same hub, if you will. I'll give you a good example from a video that I made a while back. Club Penguin was where I talked about a truly sick individual, and there was about 30% of that video I had to cut out and remove simply because it was an active police investigation in the United Kingdom, and if I was to mention certain facts, it would absolutely hinder actual police investigation happening over on the other side of the world. So you have to be really careful with how you handle this kind of stuff, and it's why I've been wanting to make a follow-up to that video, but I just haven't been able to because, again, it's an active police investigation. Ruining that is absolutely going to be the worst possible outcome, so it's really a situation where you have to wait for all the options to open up. You cannot do anything without the blessings of law enforcement, otherwise you are absolutely screwing up whatever you're trying to build, and in this case, it seems like that may possibly have happened, unfortunately. So long story short, YouTube removes Chet and EDP's channel. It's the weirdest double cancellation I've seen, and to be real with you, I expected it. You know, given this video that I think all of us have watched at this point, even aliens have watched, YouTube is going to remove him regardless of whether a law finds him guilty or innocent at this moment, just to prevent any form of like potential abuse that could happen. Same for any social media that's out there. Again, if these texts are ironclad proof, like we can sync them up to any of our devices and watch them to our heart's content, yeah, without a doubt, this is some truly damning situations to look at. Now, it's my personal opinion, again, that I believe EDP should actually face a court of law. He should face arrests and actually be investigated for the things that, you know, have alleged to have been done. Because from what I watched, from the video that I think we all saw, it's my personal belief that this is not okay behavior whatsoever. Nobody should consider it to be okay behavior. And given all that I've read, he definitely should face prison if even like 20% of it is true. And if EDP does go to prison, I hope that he actually ends up getting the help that he, you know, needs to get, whether it be therapy or whatever is, you know, given to individuals with this kind of a sick tendency, you know, if EDP is proven that way in court. I definitely have that firm belief. Now, that being said, ladies and gentlemen, you know, 2 people got removed. It was a situation which is huge. You know, it was one of the big double cancellations, and I think we'll be talking about it till the end of 2021. I don't actually see anything in 2021 being bigger than what we've witnessed. This was an insane event on YouTube, and it's finally been put to a close. So if you like this video, you know, please like, comment, and subscribe. Dislike it if you dislike it. This is me, Mutahar, and I am out.